Good afternoon, everyone. So we're going to start with the second part of this chapter, Journey to the End of the Earth by Tishani Toshi. Before I begin, I'd like to show you something and recapitulate what we had done yesterday. This is on the screen what we did yesterday. We talked about Pangea. So I'll just elaborate more about the history of Earth. This is how the grand continent of Pangea looked. This was the Earth. What happened before and how it got separated. And this is the name Mr. David Wagner, who studied all this, and he made these wonderful discoveries, his research, and you can see how the continents drifted. This is the Indian Peninsula, which joined the Asian. Yes, here you are, and see the emergence of Himalayas. This is how this Earth took its shape, and Antarctica remained down. Gondwana land and Eurasia. The whole Pangaea got separated into the ocean Tethys, and then how the continent drift took place, and this is how the Earth changed shape. You know one thing, that all these continents, if fitted into, they will fit into one whole, one Pangaea once again. So that is it. We begin. Welcome you all back to the class. So we begin to the from where we had left yesterday. We were talking about Antarctica. It was a very different experience for the narrator. Narrator is Shishani Doshi, as being a South Indian sun worshipper who had come to Antarctica, and which was very, very cold and frigid. The place which is untouched by humans and their intentions also, and their inventions also. That's what intention. What intentions you mean by, to see what the humans have done on this earth? They devastated the whole earth. From small creatures to midges, you can see a lot of things in Antarctica, from small midges and mites to huge creatures like blue whales and icebergs as big as countries. And I told you yesterday, the biggest iceberg is of the size of the country Belgium. And days are never ending, with sunlight all the time falling on the southern hemisphere. It is such a quiet place, uninterrupted only by falling mass of snow rapidly down a mountain. It is a setting that forces you to ponder upon Earth's geological history and helps you foresee future, which for humans doesn't seem very pleasant. For us, it is not very pleasant because we have been doing a lot of devastation on this Earth. So we need to stop all this and see how we go by. I hope you remember the poem we did, Keeping Quiet. The poet Pablo Neruda had the same feelings, same idea as he tried to transmit to us, that if we can all keep quiet for a moment, introspect, we will be able to save this earth. So this story talks about, or this essay talks about the same thing, that we need to be careful about. So let's talk about the human impact. Now it's a very important point I'm going to make here. Human civilization has been around for paltry 12,000 years. Yeah, quite ironic and quite, hyperbole, but I'm talking 12,000 years, and only 12,000 years. यार ये आप लोग निशान बनाना बंद करो please. Again I'm telling you, हाँ, वरना वो आदमी जाएगा ग्रुप से बाहर. So what is happening is 12,000 years is not a small time. It's a big time. And you can now, one thing you can all see, that the whole civilization or whole history of human beings or this earth is 500 million years ago. The earth started, took shape 250 billion years ago or so. In that time, 12,000 years is nothing. So if you put this in a time clock of say 24 hours, you have a clock of 24 hours. If you put this time clock in one 24-hour clock, you will not have 1 minute for the human civilization. What I mean is, if 500 million years are put in a 24-hour clock, human civilization will last less than a minute. And in less than that 1 minute, what we have done, barely a few seconds on the geological clock, in that short amount of time, we have managed to create quite a ruckus, etching our dominance over nature with our villages, towns, cities, mega cities. So we have destroyed everything. We have just destroyed everything. So ruckus is a commotion. Commotion means a chaos. We have created chaos here. With cities, mega cities, highways, 4 lanes, 8 lanes, 16 lanes, and what all. The rapid increase of human population has left us battling with other species for limited resources, and the unmitigated burning of fossil fuel has now created a blanket of carbon dioxide around the world. So, unmitigated means unconditional, which cannot be stopped. Etching means engraved. So, what we have done is we have just done everything to spoil this earth, to get this earth to a shape where it is lies today. We are in competition to win the competition against all the species which are existing in this earth. Do you even know how many species are there in this earth? Right? They are ever increasing. The millions of species. Species means each an animal and plant who are thriving, who are living on this earth. And we are one of them. But do we believe this? No, we believe that we are the only one. That's the problem which humans have. So we have to be careful of thinking that everyone has to coexist. So we have been burning all the fossil fuels and everything, all carbon dioxide around the world has been spreading because of us humans, which is slowly but surely increasing the average global temperature. I don't have to tell you again and again about the global warming, about the carbon dioxide, methane, and all these gases, which are called the greenhouse gases, which are there on this earth because of our consumption, and they are increasing the temperature of this earth. You people are not in Dakshine, but I can tell you one thing that we are living a weather condition which was around 30 to 40 years ago. The old people who have been living here, they have been telling us, even the Met Department has been telling us, that Himachal is having the weather of 30 years ago. How? Because of this lockdown, the factories are not working. There is minimum pollution in the air. Yesterday, I told you that we can see Chandigarh. Not more than that, we are experiencing rain after every 3 4 days, and the wonderful weather is here. You must be, those who are in planes must be having those coolers and fans and even ACs around. But you can see I am still wearing something because it is quite nippy here. The weather is gone very very good. It is a old weather has come back again. So this is what we have to do: reduce the human impact. Climate change is one of the most hotly contested environmental debates of our time. Yes, environmental change and climate change is the most hotly contested environmental debates of our time because everything is revolving around it. Kyoto Protocol, New York Protocol, Paris Protocol, all these protocols of environment we have been talking about, dealing about, reading about, but not implementing. And the weather conditions are changing abruptly around the world. If there is snow, there will be snow throughout the winters, and people will be in trouble. If it is summer, it will be so hot a summer that people will be reeling under the stress. And if it rains, it's a it's a total deluge, and there is water everywhere, not a drop to drink, and we are in a lot of trouble with water. So that is what is happening with our weather conditions, the climate change. Will the West Antarctic ice sheet melt entirely? These are the questions we're asking. Will this West Antarctic ice sheet melt entirely? Will the Gulf Stream ocean current be disrupted? So, if this West Atlantic or Antarctic ice sheet melts, it will be a problem for us. There will be an ice age. Yes, I'm saying this. If the ice starts melting, there will be an ice age because when the ice starts melting, more and more fresh water will be pumped into the seas. It will reduce the salinity of the sea. Seas are saline, the salinity level is high, density is there. And if that salinity level goes down, the density goes down, what will happen? So science students will be able to tell if the density goes down, the water movement will become fast. And when the water movement becomes fast, what happens when the seawater moves? There is a stream, the Gulf Stream moves. And if the Gulf Stream is disrupted, changes its direction, what will happen? Everything moves towards the northern side. The cold weather, the cold currents will start moving towards the northern side, and it will be an extreme winter in the entire northern hemisphere. And if this happens, if the northern hemisphere has the extreme winter, there will be snow. And slowly and steadily, the entire northern hemisphere will be covered by snow. And then it will translate to the southern hemisphere, and whole Earth will become a snowbound planet back to ice age once again. And that is why we have to stop this global warming. So hence we can say that with global warming, ice will melt, and global warming is leading to the ice age. So that's what's going to happen. That's what the question is being asked. Will the Gulf Stream ocean current be disrupted? Will it be the end of the world as we know it? Maybe or maybe not. Either way, Antarctica is a crucial element in this debate. Not just because it's the only place in the world which has never sustained a human population and therefore remains relatively pristine. So it is a sustainable place because nothing much has happened here. Everything is quite good. It's a place which is pristine, means having the same sort of loveliness which it had early on. So we can say it will remain pristine in this respect, but more importantly, because it holds in its ice cores half a million year old carbon records trapped in its layers of ice. So half a million years old records are there inside the ice, inside the carbon. Uh, so we can take them out, we can read that. Fine. The archaeologists can read that and tell us what was there in the past. Fine. And with that, we can see what is there in the present, and we can judge the future, how the future is going to be. So that is what we have to do in Antarctica. That's what I told you. If we go to Antarctica, we can study the past, the present, and the future of this Earth. If we want to study and examine Earth's past, present, and future, Antarctica is the place to go. Why is the place to go? Because everything is embedded in the cores, deep cores of Antarctica. So that is the point. Antarctica is a very, very important place for us. We cannot keep cribbing that what government is spending so much to go on Antarctica. Like few people are there. Government has spent so much on those space missions. When the Chandrayaan, the Mangalyaan, MOM, and all that are going to space, क्या जरूरत है? उतने पैसे का गरीबों को खाना खिलाओ. भाई why? Are we not supposed to look into the future? Are we not supposed to study how the earth was made? If we study properly how the earth was made completely, we have the complete data, we'll be able to know the ecosystems of the earth, how we can survive better. That's the reason we need the research to continue. We cannot discourage the research. Now, in research, students on ICE program is very, very important. I was working with on the Stalsky. Yeah, who is this I? I is the narrator, fine. And who is the narrator? Tishani Doshi. He aims to do exactly this by taking high school students to the end of the world and providing them with inspiring educational opportunities which will help them foster a new understanding and respect for our planet. So you are the people who have the onus on you now. The onus is completely on you, not like old people like us. We have lived our age, right? We are going to just teach you things and go on. The next generation is you, and you will be giving it to the next generation. Earlier, the author said, if you remember, the person Jeff told, the person who started this ICE Students on ICE program, he said that earlier I used to take Jeff Green, that is Canadian. He used to say that I used to take the rich celebrities to the program to Antarctica and Arctic region, but it was of no value. They didn't give anything back to the society. So he stopped it. He started a social service. So he took on the students because students are the arbingers of future. They'll be able to teach the society something better. So it was better to show them everything in first hand. You have been reading everything in the books. But if you see it in Antarctica, you'll come to know, yes, all these things are not fairy tales. These are true. That's how he took the students to the uh, program of Student on Ice to Antarctica. It's been in operation for 6 years now, headed by a Canadian Jeff Green, who got tired of carting celebrities and retired rich curiosity seekers who could only give back in limited way. Carting means taking them With students on ice, he offers the future generation of policymakers a life changing experience at an age when they are ready to absorb, learn, and most importantly, act. Whatever is taught to the students, they retain it for life and they act on it. Not everyone acts, but many act. And that changes the whole ecosystem of the world. You've seen, if you've been following what is happening in India since January, quite, you can say, unfortunate. The university students are coming out and protesting against the government. It's happening in America, it's happening everywhere. But yes, they have settled down. They have understood that things are not that bad, which they've projected to be. So that's what the students do. The students' movements are always strong in any country. Fine. So that is why the student movements are always encouraged, never discouraged in a democracy. So that's it. The reason of the program has been so successful is because it's impossible to go anywhere near South Pole and not be affected by it. What is the meaning of this? The reason the program has been successful is because it's impossible to go anywhere near the South Pole and not be affected by it. Means the the scenario which you see there in South Pole gives you the glimpse into future. It shows you the present and it gives you a glimpse into the future. Hence, you understand that global warming is real. Hence, you understand the impact, the negative impact on environment is real. Hence, we have to be careful now. So that's what is it, not be affected by it. It's easy to be wise about polar ice caps melting while sitting in the comfort zone of our respective latitude and longitude. What does it mean? Wise means unimpressed with or indifferent to something because one has experienced or seen it never or often. Fine. When China encountered this corona, we were quite blazed about it. Yeah, ठीक है, corona hai, fine, fine. Some place called Wuhan. Yeah, where is the problem? Then it went to Italy. But when it landed on the shores of India in the month of end February and March, then our eyes opened, and now we are, of course, what's happening around. God bless us. Fine. So that's what being blaze is. When we are in comfort zones in our rooms and we are talked about Antarctica, okay, this is happening in Antarctica. वहाँ ऊपर आसमान में there was a ozone layer which is torn now. Yeah, what is the big deal? We'll take some Fevicol and fix it up, but it's not that easy, please. Fine. Fixing the ozone layer is not all that easy. So that is the meaning. Sitting in the comfort zone, we cannot realize what is the difference, what is the change, what is the impact. But when we go there, the impact is clear. So that's the meaning that you have to be affected by it. Affected by the thing after you experienced it. Somebody would have told you, in a hostel, the life is very hard. We have got guest scholars. Yeah, Sejal is there, and a few more are there. If you ask them, okay, hostel life is hard. Sejal will say, yeah, it is hard. I have heard from the friends. But once she starts living there, once these I mean, these day scholars start living in the hostel, they realize, नहीं यार, tough नहीं है, ये बहुत ज़्यादा tough है. But it's an enjoyment too. It's a learning curves too. Fine. We become hard. We take our own independent decisions. Then we become so good. Positives and negatives both. More positives, of course. So that is the meaning. When you are away from something, you can't just realize it. But when you are into it, you get to get the feel and you realize, yes, that's what it is. That's why the student on ICE program is very, very important for the students. But when you can visibly see glaciers retreating and ice shelves collapsing, you begin to realize that threat of global warming is real. Yes, the threat is real, right? So that's what it is. So Antarctica, because of her simple ecosystem, lack of biodiversity, is the perfect place to study how little changes in the environment can have big repercussions. These little changes in the environment have got big repercussions. Little changes and huge impact occurs. Repercussions means the impact, the huge impact occurs. What are these impacts? Take the microscopic phytoplanktons. I'd like to give you an example here. Just I'll show you a video here. Just see that, and then we'll come back. So the phytoplankton impact will be there everywhere. But we start thinking phytoplanktons, these mini creatures, small creatures, these microscopic creatures, what are they going to impact the earth for? They will impact the earth. How? Understand that. Microscopic phytoplanktons, those grasses of the sea that nourish and sustain the entire southern ocean food chain, these single celled plants use the sun's energy to assimilate carbon and synthesize organic compounds in their wondrous and the most important of the processes called photosynthesis. They make this photosynthesis and oxygen is made in that. You know this, fine? Scientists warn that a further depletion of the ozone layer will affect the activities of phytoplankton, which in turn will affect the lives of marine animals and the birds of the region and the global carbon cycle. So this is an impact of a little thing which goes huge, right? Now, in the parable of phytoplankton, there is a great metaphor for existence. Take care of small things, and the big things will fall into place. So we have to be very careful. We have to take care of these small things, and what will happen? Big things will take care of itself. Like you have to complete a, you have to score 94% or 98% in the board exams. How are we going to do it? ठीक है यार एग्जाम शुरू होंगे 1 मार्च को हम 20 फरवरी को शुरू हो जाएंगे दैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्प यू हैव टू build that 98% brick by brick moment by moment day after day you have to build that right and then you have to go for the kill in the final 10 days you can't just start in the end and you can go if I give you the same examples of Asma and Samir and all those wonderful people who've topped of the last year batch who are going to top you must have seen they have been working regularly. So that little things which you neglect in life are very important. So phytoplanktons you save this earth. Imagine this, fine? So Antarctica, so there you are. So next part is walk on the ocean. So walk on the ocean was a wonderful thing. My Antarctic experience was full of such epiphanies, but the best occurred just short of the Antarctic circle at 65 degrees and 55 minutes south. So what is this an epiphany? Epiphany is something, a feeling of wow, wonderful pleasure. When you get something, you see something and you really enjoy that. Fine. Thus, Dostoevsky had managed to wedge herself, that is the ship, into the thick white stretch of ice between the peninsula and the Tadpole Island, which was preventing us from going any further. The ship got stuck. In short, I'll tell you, the captain decided we were going to turn around and head back to north. But before that, they thought, let's go down and walk on the ice. So everybody went and walked on the ice. And when they walked on the ice, what happened? There we were, all 52 of us, killed, knitted out in kitted out in the Gore-Tex and gears, walking on the stark whiteness and seemed to spread out forever. Underneath our feet was a meter-thick ice pack, and underneath that, 180 meters of living, breathing, and salt water. In the periphery, carburetor seals were stretching and stunning themselves on the ice floes, much like stray dogs will do under the shade of banyan tree. So there's nothing sort of a revelation. Everything got indeed connected. Everything was fantastic. You can see, imagine when you're walking on the ice, thick ice, 1 meter, and underneath that wonderful, nice, clean, transparent, you can see those seals and ice, the sea life. It's an amazing feeling, as in those sound which is made when you walk on the ice. And I'll put the video, I'll show that. Everything will be there. All those videos will be there. So crossing 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, and the 3 water bodies, and many ecosystems later, I was still wondering about the beauty of the balance in play on our planet. How would it be if Antarctica were to become a warm place that once used to be? Will we be around to see it? Or would have gone by the time the way the dinosaurs, holy mammoths, and holy rhinos went? Who to say? But after spending 2 weeks with a bunch of teenagers who still have the idealism to save the world, all I can say is that a lot can happen in a million years, but what difference a day makes. So a lot of things can happen in billion years, you can imagine, but a day makes a big difference because in one day you can do a lot. You can make a point that today I'm going to do this, and if this happens, you will be great. Fine. Yesterday I took a session with teachers of the country, and it was on time management. I told them make a to-do list. I'm telling you the same thing. All of you make a to-do list. And in that list, only create three things. 10 चीजें लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Only put three things and follow judiciously and do those three things. What will happen? It will give you a great happiness that I have finished those wonderful things, and you will gain a lot of confidence. That's the end of this chapter. I hope you've understood it. For further explanations, I'll be putting the video also. If you have any questions, you can shoot now. We've got little time left with us. Please, किसी को कोई question पूछना है, kindly ask. Thank you so much for being patient and understanding. Please ask.